Now, let's just quickly go through this. In the temptation in Adam and Eve, it says the food was pleasing to the eye. They saw it and they wanted it. The fruit was pleasing to the eye. That's lust of the eyes. And then it said it was pleasing to the taste. It tasted good. That's lust of the flesh. Okay? And then he said, if you eat it, you're going to be a god. Not you're going to be Satan. Satan never tempts you to be a him. He tempts you, he says, you'll be your own God. That's the pride of life. Okay? Now, it's interesting, Ray, in John 3:16, it says, God so loved the world. But in 1 John 2:16, the same guy who wrote John 3:16, it says, love not the world. Well, which is it? Okay, John 3:16, God loved the world. You are told not to love the world. The difference is the meaning of the word world. World, in John 3:16, he's talking about the people of the world. In 1 John 2:16 and 15, 16, he's talking about the value system. And he says, all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life, is not of God, not of the Father, but of the world. Now, we are to love the people and hate the value system. The problem is, as Christians, we do the exact opposite. We love the value system and hate the people. Okay? We're just as materialistic, just as sensual, and just as prideful as anybody out there in the world. Now, the antidote, and I'm doing this real quickly, I could teach you a seminar on humility, integrity, and generosity. Those are the three things that are the antidotes to the lust, flesh, lust, and eyes, pride of life. And if you want to make it to the finish line, and we need you to make the finish line, you're going to have to build guardrails of integrity around your life, guardrails of humility around your life, and guardrails of generosity. See, the antidote to the lust of the flesh is integrity. The antidote to the lust of the eyes, which is greed, is generosity. Give.
Yep.
And the antidote to the pride of life is humility.
Yep.
All three of those are misunderstood. We think humility means going around saying, I'm no good, I'm worthless, I'm junk. No, you're not junk. Okay? Jesus didn't die for junk. You want to know how valuable you are? Look at the cross. With arms outstretched and nail-pierced hands, Jesus is saying, I love you this much. I love you so much it hurts. I'd rather die than live without you. You're not junk. You are incredibly valuable and you're infinitely flawed at the same time. Both of those are true. Incredibly, infinitely valuable and infinitely flawed. And humility is not denying your strengths. Humility is being honest about your weaknesses. Every one of you who are listening have a bundle of strengths that you're good at. Ray has strengths he's good at. I have strengths that I'm good at. But I also have weaknesses that I'm terrible at. You have weaknesses. You have weaknesses. And humility is not denying your strengths and, oh, I'm not good. That's false humility, okay? It's saying, hey, I want you to tell me how great I am because I really know I'm great in this area. Humility is being honest about the weaknesses.
Yep.
And when you realize, given the right situation, I could stumble in any of these areas, in money, in sex, or in ego, passion, possession, position, then I have to build guardrails. And we literally have guardrails like we have the Saddleback covenants for our staff members. There are 10 moral covenants that you say, I will not do these things if I'm on staff. And, you know, I'll just tell you this. 35 years ago, when there was the big scandals with PTL, Jim Baker and Swaggart, remember that? And I came up with this list. Billy Graham was one of my mentors, and he taught me about the Billy Graham rule of never being alone with a woman with the door closed. I've kept that rule for 52 years in my ministry. I've never been in a room with a woman who was not my wife with the door closed, except when it was a nurse in a doctor's office. And that's the only time. And so my secretary, if we were going to go down the elevator, she'd go, who's going down, you or me? And
right.
And I remember telling this to Bill Hybels back in the 80s. And he said, Rick, you're being legalistic. He said, you're going overboard. I said, Bill, I'd rather go overboard than be thrown overboard. Okay. And then he stumbled.
Yep, that's right.
Because he was not willing to put guardrails in his life.
Oh, it's funny, we said all the time, man, if you all have a car in the parking lot, those of you that are on site, did you lock it? Everybody locked it. Why? If something is valuable, you take steps to protect it.
Exactly.